my slave, living day to day. I hope you can get away, yeah, and join me. A moment in the blind, where time shed, where no one's left behind, yeah. Today, we're going to be going over the Cattlemen M1. So, to start off with, I bought this rifle knowing that it was going to be a challenge. I'd heard all over the place that it didn't shoot well. There was problems from more than one reputable reviewer. And so I thought to myself, all right, well, I want to check this out for myself. I'll risk my own personal money to see what's going on. And so I ordered one up, and I got it. Was it last Friday? So I've had it for over a week. No? Let's see. Today's Wednesday, so... Well, I've had it for probably 6, 7, 8 days now. But the first 3 days, I pulled it out of the box day one, got a scope on it, put it at 25, shot my first group, and it was shooting at about a 2-inch group at 25, which I was disappointed with. That's kind of what I'd heard. And I thought, well, I'll tighten this right up. I'll put some barrel bands on it, and that'll do it right now. And so I made a barrel band, slid it on, cranked it down, and I've showed it. I did the same type of barrel band as I did on the T1, and that worked amazing on the T1. And lo and behold, it was just as bad. It went to about 1.5 inch group. And I was thinking 25 yards, 1.5 inch group. Well, that's not what I want at all. So let's take a closer look. And it was pretty loud, so I thought, all right, let's put the moderator on it. And I gotten one of the Donnies. I bought a nice Donnie, okay, the Shogun, and I got the coverts from those guys. This one's been remolded a little bit, and several others, and nothing seemed to work on it. Not for quieting it. It made it nice and quiet, but it was shooting down probably 3 feet and to the left 3 or 4 feet. I mean, I wasn't even hitting. I had a 4x8 or 3x4 target out there with a 12-inch target in the center of it, and it looked like a shotgun blast was going off whenever I would try to shoot patterns. Especially, I mean, half the time it wouldn't even hit with a moderator on it, and I was thinking, what the heck is going on here? You know, I'd heard reports of some similar things happening, and so I thought, wow, all right. And so I started looking at things, and I thought, well, maybe it's just shaking so bad, maybe my barrel band's not helping. So I added a couple more barrel bands, and I put some stiffeners in underneath the shroud, carbon fiber stiffeners to stiffen the internal of the barrel. And it was still shooting off. And what I should have done is just looked at everything real carefully. And so then I took off the adapter, and I started looking closer at the barrel, and I noticed that the crown was off, like terribly to one side, and not even beveled on another, which left a couple of little burrs. And so I thought, I got this. It was just a crown issue. And so I took and I recrowned it, and I'm shooting it, and it's still pretty bad. I mean, even with the recrown, it's all over the place. I got a FX moderator, which is basically just an empty can to work for it, and I thought to myself, man, this is gonna suck, you know. And even at that, whenever I put the FX moderator on it, it was still shooting that 1.5 inch group at 25 yards, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that's not going to be able to go out to 50. So I thought, well, let's just check it out. And so I tried a bunch of different ammo. Trust me, I've tried a ton of ammo through it, and it was way worse at 50. I mean, I wasn't even putting it on a 12x12 target, hardly at all. Every once in a while I get lucky and hit with different ammos. And so I was like crazy disappointed with what was going on. So I busted out, I got a scope cam over here for checking out the bore. Okay, now it's a bore camera, and I started looking at the bore, and I noticed that the 98% of the barrel looked great, but right where it choked down, it looked like it hadn't been processed. It looked like it hadn't been processed out properly, like sanded, polished, any of that. There was burrs all over the place, and I was sitting there thinking, whoa, what's going on here? And I noticed it was really super tight. Whenever I have some little gauges that I can check the chokes on different rifles that I've machined down, brass bars that I've machined down to specific sizes, so I could check and see how tight that choke is on different guns, so I can estimate what ammo might work good in those choked rifles. Okay, and for this one, the M1, it was so tight that I couldn't imagine anything would work good in it. It was way tighter than anything I've measured so far. And so I thought, all right, well, let's start there. And so I started relieving that, and I relieved that by stroking it with sandpaper, with a ramrod, and I went all the way to super polish. I don't have all the sandpapers here, but I assure you I go all the way up, and then even to diamond polish sandpaper in the end. And I relieved it out to what was pretty close to about where the FX chokes run. The FX have a choke on a lot of their barrels, with the exception of their slug barrels. And so I just measured it out really close to that, and then polished everything. Okay, and with the final polish, it came out right, pretty much on the money for my gauges on that. And then I started shooting it, and lo and behold, man, it was like a completely different gun. And so, you know, I mean, it wasn't pellet picky anymore. I mean, basically, I kind of fixed everything with it from what I can see. Now, I still have the barrel bands on it. I have 3 barrel bands on it. I haven't taken them off. And I have 2 of the barrel bands are set up. They're going to be permanent on it, because what I've done is I've set up a Swiss Akai rail on it so that I could set a bipod on the front of it wherever I want, for about 12 inches from towards the very end of the barrel. And so those 2 are going to stay on it. The very front barrel band, which is a condensed heavy-duty plastic like a Delaron, it's probably going to come off because I don't think it's needed. I haven't worked backwards on everything that I've done. Basically, at this point, it's still where I got it to where it was dialed in. And I got it dialed in with a FX moderator on there. I still couldn't get any of even the Donnie FL wouldn't work on it. And so just a hollow can seemed to work the best, believe it or not. And so that's what I found. And so I'm going to show you guys several different ammos here. And we're going to do this FX right here. Okay, and this is the 25 grain. All right, what is it here? Let's see, it's the 25.4 grain. All right. We're going to do the JSB knockouts. Okay, the 217 JSB knockouts, 217 we're going to shoot. Okay, and I can tell you that the knockouts work pretty much the same as the javelins. We'll shoot some jumbo JSBs here, and I can tell you I've shot the super points through it. They shoot all right, but so. I shot the Gamo match grades. They shoot okay, but not great. The Hypermax, they're super light, so they're kind of all over the place. They would need to be at a lower pressure setting to shoot those good, but it does shoot those good at the lower settings, and not at the full pressure of 200 bar, but about 150. You can get some groups with these. But we're just gonna go ahead and shoot the FX first, and I'll bring you on over. We'll start going with that. I'm going to bring you on over here. And as I said, I had to do quite a bit of work to this gun to get it working right. So it's not like just something that you can, for this particular one, and I know this was the last run, and I heard some stuff about them having some bad barrels that went out. Well, I suspect, obviously, me and several others have gotten some. And so what I would look for is the crown being offset. That's going to throw it way off. Okay. And if you look at the the shroud, right where the end of the shroud, or right where the end of the tank has, there's a knurled cover for the for your gauge. And if you look at your barrel, what you're going to see is where the barrel's supposed to be rotating around freely, it hits that knurled spot, and that causes pretty severe inaccuracy. So a barrel band will fix that really amazingly, and I'm going to show that right now, because as I said, the barrel bands are still on it. And so without going too much further, I'm just going to go ahead and bring you over, and we're going to take a look at everything here. And so here we go. We're going to bring you on over to the telemetry page. Alright, here we go. Here's all the stuff that we got going on. Alright, now I'm going to turn on the sound for the dB rating for decibel rating. And we have we're connected. We're going to check and see what we're getting right now. And I'm not sure what I got it set to. Is it foot-pounds or feet per second? I am not sure. Let's take a look here. Alright, so we're going to look at it in feet per second first. And then we'll see what kind of foot-pounds it's doing. Okay, we're going to go to home. Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and pull out the clip. Okay, we have, oh man, I've preloaded it. Alright, we got the FX in there right now. So, right now we have the FX, these guys, in here right now. And we're going to go ahead and I'm probably going to change it to channel 1 or 2, which is the actual scope, and we'll take a look at what we got going on here. Alright, so hopefully I don't think I double fed it, but I guess we'll find out, right? Alright, so we're all ready to go. Sure seems like there's gonna be some. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot this empty and see if it's empty or not, and I'm gonna aim at that top dot there. You can see, okay, it was empty. Good. All right, so I'm gonna load a full clip here of these, because I just want to unload a whole clip of them, and we'll see how they shoot. Now, I don't know if you could see there, but we got 7 to probably about 15 mile per hour winds hitting. Not too crazily gusty. Alright, so now we're all reloaded. I actually had a few shots just to see where we're at again. Alright, so now we're going to aim at that top circle. You can see right where we're going. And, alright, so we're hitting really low at those, but we're just going to go with the group now. See where it hits. Alright, so there we go. Look at that. It's a pretty good group there. Alright, let me suppose I could bring it down, and we'll bring it right over to where that group was. Okay, for the wind. Alright, so now I'm fiddling with the scope, but we're going to go ahead and go back up to that top one and shoot one more group with these. Okay. See where our scope brought us to. We're going to shoot at the bottom of the circle. I like to not shoot them try to shoot in the dead center. I like to shoot in the bottom so I have a reference point that's got a cross to it. Alright, so here we go. Let's get this a little bit more straight on there. Okay, looking good. Let's get up to our point. I gotta adjust it a little bit more. There we go. And, oh yeah, that's looking good. Okay. Alright, there we go. So you can see this gun shoots really well now. Alright, so those are the JSB Jumbo Heavy Exact. Okay. I'm going to finish this clip real quick. Okay, I think that was empty. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead We're going to go back over here to our to our channel 3, I think is what it is. Nope, channel 4. All right. And it looks like most of those registered. All right. We're going to go to channel 4 and we're going to go ahead and set these aside. And we're going to bring out our knockouts here, JSB knockouts. And we're going to load those right up. And these are a hybrid type slug. And this will shoot really well with those slugs I showed you, those javelins. Amazing out at the ranges. 50, 75. Looking great. I haven't actually done the testing at 100 with the javelins yet. Okay, so here we go. We got our knockouts all loaded up and ready to go. Okay, let's go to our number 1 again. Is it number 1? Nope, it's number 2. All right, so there we go. So now we can see our point of aim. All right, so let's go down over here. These will probably be shooting higher now because I think they travel faster and they have a better ballistic coefficient. Just a little bit over. We got some wind going. Going really high now. Alright, we're empty. Alright. Now, let's go with, oops, I'm sorry, I misspoke earlier. We did the FX, the 25 grain. Now we're going to do the Diabolo Jumbo Heavies. Okay, and I'm going to go to, back to, what is it, 3? Channel 3 here? No, 4. I got to get my channels right. There we go. Alright, and so here's the Diabolos right here. As you can see, this is what we got going on here. Okay. Sorry about speaking earlier. So we're going to go ahead and load it up. And this third clip won't have as much gusto as far as the gun goes, because it starts tapering off at the third clip. So this will be the last that we shoot. And in conjunction, yes, the M1 can be very accurate, but it took me quite a bit of work. I think that once they get everything sorted out with whatever happened with the quality control on the barrels, I'm sure these will be shooting just as good as this one is. So we'll go to 2. I'm going to go ahead and go down to the lower target, and we'll see how it shoots these guys. Okay. A little bit more. Alright. Oops, I already loaded one, so that was, I'll open it and redo it. Okay. There we go. Alright, sorry about that. I'm getting ahead of myself here. That's it. So you can see, looking really good at 25 for the pellets. Now, strangely, earlier it was shooting really good with those knockouts, I mean, pretty much as good as we've seen the pellets there. I'm surprised at the results there just now, but heck, I guess little changes, right? And so that's what it's doing at 25. I'll bring it out to 50 and we'll see that it's doing about the same, but I won't do it in this particular video because we're running long and I've had to explain a lot already. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this and you got something out of it, and you see that the Cattlemen's can group really good with the M1. It just took some work, and obviously there was something that happened at the factory to where some bad barrels got out, no doubt about it. And so this one is now fixed. I got it nice and quiet, as you could see. Oh man, I didn't turn that back on. Here, well then what we'll do is we'll get one more here. I'll go ahead and pop a quick one in the same size there, and we'll get a quick sound on it. Let's see, I'll still shoot the same spot. Alright, there we go. So you can see what that wound up being decibel wise. Apparently it must have turned off before I got to showing you guys. But we could see, let's take a look at that shot string, and we'll change that over to the, what is that, channel 3, I think. There we go. And you can see that we started off with our first ones running nice and hot, 970. Now those were with the FX 25 grainers, the first 10. Okay, and you can see the 946 is what we ended up there. And then we started them with the slugs, and the first one was a little bit slow. Something happened there, and then we were up in the 940s, and up to shot 20, and then we started with the really light ones, the JSB jumbos that are 18.13 grain. Okay, these guys right here, and from 21 we had 1,000 feet, 997. So those were running pretty hot. You could see pretty hot all the way to the end. So if those would have been at the very beginning, those would have probably been running 11s, I bet. And they still run super accurate at those speeds. And so, yeah, just a little bit of polishing on that barrel, resetting that crown, and this thing's a tack driver for a whole bunch of different ammo. So if you've gotten one of those barrels or it's not working out, let them know. They've been great on customer service. Let them know, they'll get it back. I'm sure they'll fix it up for you in nothing flat and get it back out to you ready to hit whatever you want. So I hope this is helping you guys. I hope it helps anybody who's thinking about getting one of these. If they're planning on getting an M1, it's just a matter of time before they get it completely squared away, or it was just a few barrels. I can't attest to either. I know that I've seen at least 3 different reviews where people were saying they had accuracy problems with them. But I think with a few simple fixes, they'll have them right on target. So there it is, guys. I hope that helps. You enjoyed it. Another day in the blind. You can hear that wind kicking up. If you look out here a little bit with the with the wind flag, you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see out there. The wind's going pretty good. So you can see we're kicking around pretty good. That's what we're shooting in, basically. And so at 25 yards, I'm still super happy. At 50 yards, super happy. As I said, I brought it out to 75 with some of the slugs, and it was grouping really well there too. So I expect that we're going to have some exciting reviews on this in the future. I hope that everybody enjoyed this episode of The Blind. I'll catch you guys on the next one.